This is day 1 review for STAAR problem number 1. What value of W makes the equation 3W plus 5 equals 7 true? So which one of these answers is going to make the equation true? I would first begin by solving the equation. So 3W plus 5 equals 7. The first thing you do is to get rid of this. So you want to subtract 5 from both sides. This cancels out, so you're left with 3W equals 2. Now you want to get the W by itself, so you'll divide by 3 here, and you have to divide by 3 here. This cancels. So your answer is W equals 2/3. So which of these number lines show 2/3? Well, on F, this is 2, so that is not true. For G, this is 3, so this is not true. Okay, we're looking for a fraction. On H, this is less than 1 right here, so it makes it a fraction. Let's look at J. This is greater than 1, and it's between 1 and 2, so this is actually 1.5. So that's not true. This has to be our answer, but let's see why. Well, we know that this number or this value is less than 1. You notice how many sections? These are separated into thirds. So this is 1/3, so this is 2/3. And 1 would be 3/3. So H is definitely the answer. Number 2, Mr. Chavez made a scale drawing of his office. The width of the scale drawing of the office is 2 inches. What is the actual width in feet of Mr. Chavez's office? Well, what are the two things that we're comparing here? We're comparing inches to feet. Here's our scale. So if 1/2 inch equals 3 feet, then 2 inches will equal X. All right, so now we have cross multiply. So this would be 1/2 X equals 2 times 3, which is 6. Okay, so let's think about this. Half of what number equals 6? You could also do the opposite and multiply it times the inverse. So if you multiply this times 2, you must multiply this times 2. That cancels, and X equals 12. Number 3. The triangular prism shown below represents a display case. Which of the following is the best estimate of the volume of the display case in cubic inches? Okay, so I know that it is a triangular prism, and I'm asked to estimate the volume. Okay, so I have to remember that V equals big B times H. But because it's a triangular prism, the big B will equal base times height divided by 2. Now, let's look at some of these numbers here. It tells me estimate. So if I look at this value, it's almost 12. And if I look at this value, it's almost 24. So I could multiply the base, which is 24, times the height, which is 12, and then divide it by 2. Okay, so this gets me 288 divided by 2. Okay, and then I would turn around and multiply that by 2. But if you notice, these cancel, so really this is your answer, H. Number 4, which equation best represents the relationship between x and y in the table? Well, if you look at the rate of change here and here and here, so we have 4, 6, and then 2. And on this side, we have 2, and here is 3, and there is 1. Looking at the values on the table, you can see that the x values are larger than the y values. Okay, so that means if y is the answer, it's smaller. So let's look at this. They're either multiplying it by 1/2, which is the same as dividing it by 2, or they're multiplying it by 2. So what do you think is happening to these values? Are we multiplying? Yeah, I know if I took x and if I multiplied it by 2, it would be much larger than 1. So by that, I can eliminate h and j. So now, we just need to look at, are we dividing it by 2 and then subtracting 3? Or are we subtracting 6? Well, we could just try it. So 8, we could try that. Half of 8 minus 3. Okay, that would be 4 minus 3 equals 1. Well, I'll be darned. I think that might be it. Okay, let's try the next one just to make sure. So half of 12 minus 3. 6 minus 3 equals 3. Yep. Okay, so this is probably our answer. Let's double check with G though, just to make sure, okay? All right, so if I have y equals 1/2 times 8 minus 6, that'd be 4 minus 6, that gets me -2. That's not going to work. So F is your answer. Number 5. Miranda made a model airplane using a scale in which 0.25 inch represents 2 feet. Which graph shows this relationship? I would like to start by making a table, an XY table, where X represents inches and Y would represent the feet. If you notice on each of these each of these graphs, the X represents inches and the Y represent feet. So that's why I made a table to match that. So if 0.25 inch equals 2 feet, then 0.5 inch would equal 4 feet, and 1 inch would equal 8 feet. So if 1 inch equals 8 feet, let's see, here's 1, but it's not at the 8, which is right there. So that can't be it. The first point here is 2 1/2, so that's not it. Okay, so here's 1 and 8. This is probably it. And oh my, this doesn't even start at 0, so that can't be it. So B is the correct answer. Number 6. On Monday, a sweater was on sale for 25% off the regular price of $20, not including tax. On Tuesday, the sweater was on sale for 40% off. What was the difference in the sale price of the sweater on Monday and the sale price on Tuesday? Okay, so if it was 40%, because it's asking for the difference, 40% off minus 25% off, that is a difference of 15%. So, but they're wanting to know the money. So now all I have to do is calculate 15% of $20. So this becomes 0.15 times 20, which equals 3. Number 7. A bag contains 4 sour apple candies and 3 watermelon candies. One piece of candy is chosen at random and returned to the bag. Okay, at random and returned to the bag. Okay, so then a second piece of candy is chosen at random. What is the probability that both pieces of candy chosen will be sour apple? Okay, so this tells me that it's returned to the bag means they're 2 independent events. All right, so how many candies are in the bag total? Well, you have 4 and 3, so there are 7 total candies. But the candy in question is sour apple, so that would be 4 out of 7, right? Okay, so if they pull the candy on the first try, it's 4 out of 7 chances. Okay, now it says to do it a second time. They're both independent because you returned the candy to the bag, so it's like you starting all over again. So what is the probability of pulling another one? it's 4 out of 7. Okay, so remember on combinations you multiply. So 4 times 4 equals 16, and 7 times 7 equals 49. Number 8. The triangles shown below are similar. Which line segment corresponds to line segment AC? So here is AC. So this line segment, AC. Now what I would always do is label the sides, okay? So if this, remember the short base or the short side of the triangle, you could say is A, okay? The second longest side will be B, and the longest side of a right triangle is always C. Okay, so if this smaller triangle here is similar, then this is also A, this is B, and that is side C. All right, so on this larger triangle here, side B is the line segment they want to ask about. So here is the corresponding side. So this is line segment EF, and therefore G is your answer. Number 9. The graph shows the number of words in Taylor's essay and the number of minutes she spent writing the essay. What is the rate of change in words per minute? Okay, rate of change. So that means I'm really looking for the slope. Okay, and there's a couple of ways that we can solve for slope. Remember we discussed the change in y values divided by the change in x values. And when I say change, I really talk about subtracting the difference of each of the values. Okay, so I would start by looking for these clean points right there, right there, right there. Okay, so we have a 2 and a 4. So this is my x value here. So I'm going to do 4 minus 2. Okay, and what is the y values? So we have 50 and 100. So this will be 100 minus 50. Okay, so 100 minus 50 is 50, and 40 minus 2 is 2. So 50 divided by 2 equals 25. So our answer is 25 words per minute. Now, another way to check this is we call this rise over run. So if you'll notice, after you have identified those clean points on the graph, okay, now what I would do is you can go up 1 here and over 2. Okay, if we go up 1 and over 2, up 1 and over 2. But what is happening here? You're going up 1, but this one step is actually 50, right? This is your rise. Okay, and then over 2 is the run. It's kind of like getting up out of bed. You got to get up before you can run. You got to get up before you can run. Get up before you run. Okay, so the rise is 50 and then 2. So again, it gets you back to 50 divided by 2, which equals 25. Okay? Number 10. Mr. Atkinson has 5 1/4 pound of dry fish food. He will put an equal amount of food into 3 containers. How much fish food will be in each container? So he has 5 1/4, and he's going to divide it into 3 containers. The first thing you need to do is around the world that, so this becomes 21 over 4 divided by 3 over 1. Remember that you can't divide with the fraction, so you have to KFC. So we have 21 divided by 4 times 1 over 3. So 21 times 1 equals 21. 4 times 3 equals 12. Now I have an improper fraction, and I'm going to divide it to make it into a mixed number. Okay, so if I have 12 going into 21, that would be 1 time. Okay, well, I can go ahead and eliminate that one and that one. So 12, I subtract, I get 9, and I put this over this. So I have 1 9/12. But I have to simplify it. So these are both divisible by 3. So this actually becomes 1 3/4. B. Keep watching for more review videos.